479 since the start of the October 7th war. A quick update from me, and then we'll get straight to your questions. Please bear with me as I share with you some of the facts and figures that we have available to share with you right now. First, on the hostage release agreement, yesterday evening the Prime Minister led vigorous and determined negotiations to secure the release of our civilian Arbel Yehud and a female soldier Agam Berger, together with an additional hostage. Hamas had backtracked on the agreement by not releasing Arbel as they had agreed originally. Subsequently, an additional phase of hostage releases are scheduled to take place this Thursday. Following the settling of this violation, Israel this morning agreed to the passage of Gazan residents to the north of Gaza. In accordance with the agreement, 3 additional hostages will be released this Saturday. Allow me to share with you some more confirmed details, facts and figures. I can confirm that Israel has received from the Hamas terrorist organization, a list that includes the status of all of the 33 hostages due to be released in this first stage. The list from Hamas matches Israel's intelligence. So I can share with you that 25 of our hostages are alive and 8 have been killed by Hamas. Families of the hostages were informed of the status of their loved ones. Let me share with you further details with our latest information. As of today, 90 hostages are being held captive by Hamas in Gaza. 7 Israelis have been released as part of this agreement on the 19th and 25th of January. 87 of the remaining 90 hostages were taken hostage on October the 7th, 2023. 3 hostages have been held by Hamas since 2014. Israel believes that 35 of the remaining 90 hostages have been killed by Hamas, yet their bodies remain held by Hamas in Gaza. This includes Hadar Goldin, taken captive in 2014, and 34 taken hostage on October 7th. Of the 87 people taken hostage on October 7th, 81 are male, 6 are female, and that includes the 2 children under the age of 5 years old, that's Ariel and Kfir Bibas. 77 are Israeli nationals, though they may hold other nationalities. 10 are foreign nationals, 8 from Thailand, 1 Nepalese national, and 1 Tanzanian. To date, a total of 165 hostages have been released or rescued. Of those 165, 124 were recovered alive, 41 were recovered dead, killed by Hamas. Yes, the agreement has come at a heavy price. Israel is releasing convicted terrorists, but Israel has a moral and ethical obligation to do everything in its power to return all the hostages, the living and the deceased. We will not rest until Hamas has released every one of them and they are all home. On our released hostages, let me share with you reports now publicly available, shared by the families very often, on their medical and psychological condition. Clearly there has been psychological torture. The mother of Daniela in particular spoke, one of our hostages released, spoke of the death of her daughter that Hamas faked. A cruel game, she called it. Thank God she was returned alive on Saturday. Hamas published an image of her white funeral shroud. Her mother said her daughter returned thin and pale and had suffered in captivity. These young ladies faced an emotional and medically complex road to recovery. Daniela, 20, still has a bullet in her leg after she was shot by Hamas. There are fears for their vision for the future after some spent 15 months or most of 15 months underground. Our doctors have tailored programs to nurse them back to health. We of course remember the horrific images of their battered and bloodied faces when they were captured in their pajamas. Who can forget one of the most sickening images from that day showed Naama Levy being dragged by her hair in bloodied pajamas as she was thrown into a back of a truck and taken into Gaza. The girls have told their families about a pita or two a day until their stomachs swelled. They were made to cook for their captors, but forbidden from eating. They were held in tunnels in the dark. Their doctors have said that mentally they're still a long way to go, and it's too soon to say precisely of their condition, and doctors are braced for them to have lost part of their vision and had to have developed skin conditions, hearing difficulties after so long underground in cramped, squalid surroundings. Medics have also been concerned that Hamas may have drugged them, and this may explain why the four girls were seen smiling ecstatically as they were paraded in front of terrorists in their sickening handover ceremonies. Those released in the November 2023 deals spoke of being given narcotics to make them appear happy. Doctors have carried out tests for toxins. Hamas put on a show on Saturday. We're asking people of goodwill around the world, please do not fall for it. Next to Israel's border with Lebanon, the US has confirmed that the ceasefire with Lebanon has been extended till February 18th. Yes, Israel wants this agreement to endure, but until this time, Israel's forces will remain in southern Lebanon along our border. As we have made clear, the original agreement clearly stipulated that the exit of Israel's forces will take place on the withdrawal of Hezbollah beyond the Litani River within 60 days. This has not yet taken place. The agreement has not yet been fully enforced by the State of Lebanon and its military. This extension takes place in full coordination with the United States. Now, yesterday, there was an attempt by Hezbollah to return to southern Lebanon. Israel's armed forces removed that threat to our soldiers and to our northern border, dispersing rioters. Let me be clear. Israel will not endanger its citizens and its population centres, and we will insist on the full implementation of this goal of the war in our north. That is, namely, returning our residents safely to their homes. So, it is yes to an enduring peace with Lebanon, but it is a big no to Hezbollah redeploying along our border. Not again, never again. Next, on International Holocaust Remembrance Day, it's a solemn day of reflection where we recall the industrial slaughter of 6 million Jews. The Prime Minister called on all civilized nations to confront anti-Semitism wherever it appears, on college campuses, in city streets, or international forums like the International Criminal Court. The International Criminal Court was founded in the shadow of the Holocaust, but the ICC has disgraced itself with anti-Semitic attacks on Israel. Hamas are the new Nazis, as the Prime Minister said, and we are committed to defeating them once and for all. Now, the Prime Minister also said that the Jewish state will always stand as a safe haven for Jews worldwide. The attacks that began on October 7th on Israel were not just an assault on Israel, but a wake-up call to the world. The barbaric acts and the global wave of Jew hatred that followed revealed an enduring truth. Hatred against Jews is a threat to humanity itself. Anti-Semitism is not a relic of the past. It is a clear and present danger to free societies everywhere. To tolerate it, or worse, to ignore it, is to invite disaster. Hatred allowed to spread will destroy everything in its path. So now is the time to act. Jew hatred needs to be confronted head-on to safeguard the values we hold dear. Israel will not stand by while hatred spreads. This is a battle for the soul of humanity, Together we can and we must prevail. So that's the end of our briefing today. Please put your questions in the chat together with your outlet. Please remember to include your outlet and we'll take a few of them. Okay, first question, just go right to the top. Is that the first question? Okay, Bashar Zagiar from Sky News Arabia. Your first question is regarding Gaza. How and who is inspecting the people going northern Gaza, since the north is mostly flattened? What is the Israeli position regarding allowing heavy machinery and equipment to go north to remove the rubble and begin reconstruction and make the north somehow habitable? Thank you for that first question, Bashar. As you know, the agreement stipulates that there will be a private security firm, an American private security firm, who will carry out some of this work, and other details are contained within the agreement. There are many, many details to this agreement, but these details are contained within the agreement. Just go up a bit, just to go up a second. Okay. Your next question, Bashar, from Sky News Arabia, regarding Lebanon. After extending the agreement, will Israel now confirm its commitment to completely withdraw from Lebanon by the 18th of February? Thank you for that question, Bashar. In my briefing, I made clear that key to the agreement is the very clear stipulation that there should be no Hezbollah between our border and the Litani River. There has been some progress made by the Lebanese army, but it has not been fast enough. Hezbollah positions, armaments are still present in that space between our border and the Litani River. Subsequently, Israel insists on adherence to this agreement. We will enforce this agreement. Yes, there is a date of 18th of February, but that is dependent on Hezbollah having withdrawn precisely as the agreement stipulates. Next question is from Leo Soroka from the Washington Post. Hamas source told Reuters that 25 out of the 33 hostages being returned in the first phase of the deal are alive. Did Hamas provide specific names, or did they only mention numbers? Thanks for that question, Leo. I gave some of the details in my briefing at the start of this session. I haven't got anything more to add to that. I can confirm that we have released the list, and it does confirm what Israeli intelligence knew, which is of the 33 in the first phase, 25 are alive and 8 have been killed by Hamas. Your next question, Leo, is Israel satisfied so far with how the inspection of the Netzarim corridor is being carried out? I haven't got any further information on that, Leo. The IDF may be able to help you out more on that one. Next question here is from Joel Pollack at Breitbart News. It would appear that Israel's bargaining position has strengthened vis-a-vis Hamas and Hezbollah in the first week of the Trump administration. Would you say that this is the case, and why? Thank you very much for that question, Joel. I would say that Israel is very grateful to the new Trump administration for maintaining the unshakable bond between our two countries. Just yesterday, I think what I will say is just yesterday, the Prime Minister spoke specifically about thanking President Trump for keeping his promise to give Israel the tools it needs to defend itself. Those were his words, and he thanked President Trump and the Trump administration to enable us to confront our common enemies and to secure a future of peace and prosperity. The Prime Minister yesterday, while we're on the subject, also spoke to Secretary of Defense, Mr. Hegsmith, and in congratulating him on his appointment. I think Secretary Hegsmith himself noted his many years of support for the State of Israel and his personal friendship with the Prime Minister. And Mr. Hegsmith also promised that the US would stand shoulder to shoulder alongside Israel and is fully committed to the security of this country. Okay, next question here. I'll just take a couple more questions from Jim Williams. Um, uh, you're asking for confirmation that 2 hostages will be released before Friday, and 3 more will be released on Saturday. Is that correct? Thanks, Jim. I said in my briefing that 3 hostages will be released on Thursday. That is what I said in my briefing, and the other details were also confirmed in my briefing earlier. Next question is from AFP. Does Israel know the name of each hostage still alive, or only the number of hostages alive and dead? That's from AFP. Look, let me share with you, AFP, that these are very real issues for the families of the hostages. Okay, now you're asking me, you're not the first one, and other people have asked me for details. These are very real issues. A terrorist organization has held our people for almost 500 days now. Almost 500 days. 16 months. Now, these families have not been told by Hamas, they have not had the decency to allow one inspection by one visit by the Red Cross. So I would just ask you to have a little compassion for the families. In the details of the briefing I just gave you, I said that Hamas had given us some details of who is alive and who is dead. 25 are alive and 8 are dead. And Israel has shared those details with their families, as is our duty. But these are very sensitive issues, so I would ask you to be a little bit compassionate about some of these details. Okay, another question here. Let me just check, because some of these questions repeat themselves. Okay, let me just share this question from Fred Egger. There were reports that a senior member of the Lebanese Armed Forces leaked intelligence to Hezbollah, claiming his presence was authorized after pressure from one of the commanders who survived the Israeli assassination attempt in October 2024. Lebanese military officials have assisted Hezbollah. Can you confirm such reports? And the second, okay, look, Fred, thank you for that question. When it comes to Hezbollah and the Lebanese armed forces, the agreement makes absolutely clear that there should be no Hezbollah between the Litani River and our border. And we've also, let me also make clear that Israel has its eyes very wide open when it comes to the implementation of this deal. We understand the point you're making, of course. We know precisely who the Lebanese army are, but that is the agreement. That is the agreement. It should be the Lebanese army and not Hezbollah. But we have our eyes very wide open about these issues. Next question is from Fred Ager. Do you have clearance to give the other hostage? You're asking me for clearance to give a third hostage to be released this Thursday, January 30th. I won't be sharing the names until they are made officially available from the government. As I said, these are very sensitive issues, and you can just we can't imagine the enforced purgatory which these poor families are going through, waiting for their people to come home. But I will make this point clear again, that Israel's government is completely committed to bringing every single one of our 90 people home. We will bring them home. And finally, a question from Phoenix TV, and you're asking me about the IDF in Gaza and movements. So I won't be sharing the IDF's movements inside Gaza. The IDF have provided very clear guidance to Gazans not to approach their positions. It's very, very important for their own safety not to approach their conditions. And if you want any further information, then I'd recommend you speak to the IDF. Okay, that's the last question I can see here. So thank you for joining us. Please do stay safe, and we'll have another briefing in the future. In the meantime, you can contact us in the usual way. Please do stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.